Hi everybody, Roderick the Crystal Mystic here to talk to you about the crystal clear quartz. Yes, clear quartz crystal, one of the most abundant minerals on the planet Earth, and one of the most common crystals that you'll find in crystal healing. And yeah, one of my favorite crystals, yes. Clear quartz crystal is known as the master healer. Clear quartz crystal is famous for its ability to amplify energy, to amplify light, to give it direction and focus. Quartz crystal is silicon dioxide, and unless it's colored by other trace minerals like iron and amethyst or anything like that, it's just a clear. You can see through it. Sometimes it can be cloudy, sometimes it can be, we call it kind of a white or a milky quartz. Sometimes you get really clear quartz. It'll have little inclusions sometimes or little growth fractures. One of the things people love about quartz crystals is they'll contain rainbows, where because of the way the light refracts passing through the quartz crystal, you'll hold it in a certain way and you'll see rainbows inside the crystal, which is one of our favorite crystal lovers' favorite thing about quartz crystals. Quartz crystals, the silicon dioxide, the way that the molecules are arranged in the silicon and the oxygen atoms, they form what we call little tetrahedrons. A tetrahedron is like a three-sided pyramid, which is kind of a triangle shape which points in a certain direction, and you have a bunch of tetrahedron or triangle three-sided pyramids stacked on top of each other all in a certain direction, which is what gives the quartz crystal its ability to focus and amplify energy, light, healing energy. A quartz crystal, typically one like this, will grow from the base to the tip, so it'll be attached to other crystals or to what we call a matrix, which is the host rock. As the quartz, magma and quartz crystalline material comes up from the earth and then comes up through little any holes that it finds, which is where you find geodes and things like that, and the quartz pops up through that and it grows. A quartz crystal which cools, when the material cools very rapidly, you'll get little quartz crystals or druzy quartz, what we call druzy, where you just see little tiny quartz crystals all covering like the side of a rock. And the slower that the crystal cools, then it forms bigger crystals. So the larger the crystal, the slower and the more time it took for that crystal to cool. And as that crystal was cooling, it was forming these little tetrahedrons of silicon and oxygen all stacked up on top of each other and all pointing in one direction from the base to the tip. And the quartz crystal will eventually form this point, what we call the tip, the apex, and the energy will be flowing out that direction in a quartz crystal point. Quartz crystals also have a spiral aspect to them, where the energy goes not necessarily in what you'd think of as a straight line, like straight as an arrow, but it curves in a spiral, and that spiral gets tighter as it gets closer to the apex because you're running out of room there, so it gets wider, then it gets tighter, and it gets tighter as it comes. And that is another thing that gives the quartz crystal its amazing ability to amplify energy. That light energy goes through that spiral, and then as it gets squeezed out, as it gets tighter, it's amplifying it and pushing it, focusing out that. That's why in crystal healing we use quartz crystals for laser wands, using them to repair the aura, using them to balance the chakras. I have here what we call a Vogel quartz crystal wand. This is a quartz crystal that's been carved by people. A design that was come up by Dr. Marcel Vogel, that used to work for IBM, and he did a lot of research, a lot of real science on the healing power of crystals. And he came up with this design of the multifaceted crystal with a fatter end on this end and a skinnier end on this end, and it'll bring the light energy in through this end and focus it in this direction for it's a very powerful healing tool. And sometimes you'll find quartz crystals can be what we call double terminated, and this means that the energy is flowing out in both directions. This can be used to bring energy in and out. It can also be used to connect, say, two crystals, two people, anywhere where you need to connect energy, make a circuit. Say quartz crystals can be used, one way we use crystals for amplifying say you're working with any kind of a crystal. I have a red jasper here. Red jasper is great for balancing the root chakra. It will be great for grounding, connecting to the earth and things like that. And you want to work with that, so you want to amplify that red jasper. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing on my table here, but we'll just place those quartz crystal points kind of around that, pointing in. That's when you point those crystals in, they're going to bring in healing, amplifying energy to amplify the power of whatever you put in here. If it's a red jasper, if you have a fluorite for concentration, you have a black tourmaline for protection, you have a blue stone for communication, whatever you're using, you use the quartz crystals in crystal grids, you use them to amplify the energy of whatever you're working with. Pointing in towards the stone is going to bring the light energy in. Say you want to send it out, like if I wanted to send that out to the universe, we're going to send some grounding out to the universe, some earth healing out to the earth. So you're going to point those going out. Say we were working on a person, if you were working on a chakra, you want to bring energy out, you're removing energy blockages, things like that, you point those quartz crystals, point them out. You want to bring in that energy, you're balancing the chakras, you want to bring the grounding, earthing energy of the red jasper into that person's chakra, and you bring those quartz crystals, you point them in. Quartz crystals are also one of the best crystals for meditation. You can just hold the quartz crystal in your hand. Quartz crystals help to focus and amplify any intention. They can be programmed for any intention. The way you program a quartz crystal will be basically to focus your intention. Essentially, if you work with the crystal and you think this is what I'm using it for, you are programming it for that intention. However, you can specifically program it for an intention. I mean, say you want to use this for healing pain, then you can program the quartz crystal in some fashion, hold it in your hand, you may hold it to your heart, find some way to connect with the crystal and then ask the crystal for help. Please, crystal, help me with my pain. Or you can say something specific like, I program this crystal for the purpose of helping me to heal my pain. If it's a certain pain like leg pain, you can even say, I program this crystal for the purpose of helping to heal my leg pain. And quartz crystals can be programmed for just about anything. You can use them, say you don't have a crystal or a certain color or something and you can substitute a clear quartz crystal. So you're doing a chakra balancing and you don't have green for whatever reason. You can program a clear quartz crystal. I program this to carry the vibration of green healing light energy. Then you can program with intention that quartz crystal to function as a green crystal and place it on the heart chakra instead of whatever green crystal you might normally use for chakra balancing. Quartz crystals come in many varieties. There are many shapes. It doesn't always come in points. It can come in just microcrystalline, every jasper and chalcedonies. Those are all types of quartz. So it's really like jaspers like these are actually a type of quartz we call microcrystalline quartz, where you can't see the crystal formation unless you're using a microscope. Sometimes it needs a very powerful microscope. Quartz crystals have different formations. They have certain things like twin crystals and Lemurian crystals. There are transmitter and channeling crystals. And the ways, twin crystals, double terminated crystals, crystals that all have kind of their own unique personalities depending on how they're formed, how their faces are formed, where they were formed, different places where you find crystals in the earth, different countries. The energy is going to be different in those crystals. You're still going to have the amplifying properties in all clear quartz crystals, but it can be different. Some are more powerful, some are a little more subtle. And quartz crystals there's really a lot more to go into in quartz crystals than you can do in one video, and I'm sure I'll make more crystals on the unique properties of different types of specific quartz crystals in the future. That's kind of an overview of how quartz crystals is the master healer and can be programmed for any kind of healing, and also, most importantly, to amplify intentions and energies and healing. I hope that taught you something about quartz crystal that you didn't already know, and I will see you in the future. Namaste.